In this video, you can learn what is table functions and you can see the various demos. Finally, you will be able to work on exercises. What are table functions? Table functions are functions that produce a collection of rows, either a nested table or an array, that can be queried like a physical database table. You use a table function like the name of a database table in the from class of a query. A table function can take a collection of rows as an input. ABAP CDS table functions define table functions that are implemented natively on the database and can be called in CDS views. As such, they support the HANA platform code pushdown capabilities in ABAP CDS. What are the advantages of table functions? There are already existing standard functions which are used within CDS views. With this feature, you can create your own custom functions and utilize within CDS views. Also, they can consume HANA database artifacts like tables, functions, predictive algorithms, and so on. Features of table functions. It can replace the scripted calculation view. Table functions which are implemented natively can be called within CDS views. They support code pushdown capabilities through ABAP CDS views. Some functions which are already existing are unit conversion, currency conversion, etc. But they are scalar functions. Where exactly these table functions are used? Some scenarios where it required selective measures. For example, complex calculations, where it can lead to highest performance requirements. Database or analytical engine specific functions is required, where OpenSQL and CDS views are not sufficient. In all these cases, you can look for table functions creation. There are few points to be remembered before you create a table function. First one is CDS table functions are supported by HANA database only. Before activating AMDP class, make sure table function is activated. For transporting, table function should be transported before AMDP class. Between AMDP method and single CDS table function, there exists 1:1 relationship. Even though table functions are good in many terms, there are few drawbacks for it. It is database specific. That means table function created for one database cannot be used for another. As of now, it is supported by HANA DB only. There are no automatic fallbacks for any database. How to create and consume table function? There are 3 steps involved in it. First step, create table function using data dictionary library. Second step, create AMDP class to implement the table function. Third step, consume the table function in another data dictionary library source. For example, CDS. Here you can see how to create table function using a DDL source. Moving on to the actual source code creation. Inside Eclipse, under your package, you need to create the table function. In my case, I have opened my package, click right button on it, select new, select other ABAP repository object. Within Core Data Services, select data definition. provide the name of the table function and a description. Click next. Select the TR. Click next. Next. Here you need to select the template. Since I am creating table function, I need to select define table function with parameters. Select it. Click finish. First step is to create input parameters, and those parameters should be mandatory. To make it mandatory, add the annotation environment system field with the string client. This is a mandatory step. Then the actual input parameters. So first one is clnt abap.clnt char id. The data type is taken from the data element here, and within the braces provide the fields. First field client colon the data element. Likewise add all other fields. I have copied all other fields and I am pasting it over here. So these are the fields of this table function. Now you have to provide the AMDP class and the method here. This AMDP class and the method is not yet created. As a next step, I will be creating this. So the table function is ready. Activate it. So this is how you create table function. Next you will see how to create AMDP class to implement the table function created before. As the second step, you need to create and implement the AMDP class and the method given within the table function. So here I will copy the name of the class, and within my package under classes, click right button on it and click new ABAP class. Provide the name of the class and the description. Click next. Select the TR and click next and click finish. Under the public section, to convert this class into AMDP class, you need to include the interfaces if AMDP marker HTTP. Then add the method definition. Copy the same method provided within the table function. Include the statement for table function and the table function name which created earlier. Now you need to implement the method. So method, you have to include the class by database function for HTTP language, SQL script, options, read only, using the table names you have to provide here. Start with the statement return to return the values selected. Then the select query. Since two tables are joined, I will use alias sc.mandate as client se dot carrier id as carrier id, se dot car name, sp dot con id, sp dot arrival time, sp dot departure time. From tables car, using alias sc, joining spfli having alias sp, join condition sc dot mandate equal to sp dot mandate and sc dot carrier id equal to sp dot carrier id. Also the where clause to filter based on the input from the table function. So sp dot mandate equal to with colon client and sp dot carrier id equal to with colon carrier id. So the class is ready. I will activate. So this is how you create the implementation of the class, which is going to be used in the CDS created for table function. The last step, you can see here how to consume table function in a CDS view. Now the last step, to utilize the table function within a CDS. So in the Eclipse, under the package, under the core data services, create new definition. Provide the name, description and click next. Select the TR and click next. Click next. Use the template. So you can use define view. Click finish. Replace the name in the SQL name. So I will just use the same name without underscore. And in the source name, data source name, update the table function. So the table function used here is the one which we created initially. And the parameters within the braces. CLNT colon and the value I will provide 400, and the second one carrier ID colon a value. Alias you can provide, and within the braces provide the fields. Activate it. Execute. You can see the result. It is filtered based on the value given within the CDS. So this is how you utilize a table function within a CDS. Now that you have learned about table functions, work on the exercises to get the hands-on experience on it. All the best.